Okay, so welcome back to In the Kitchen with Jelly 007.com. And tonight, I want to show rice recipes, which they're all over the board when you look at recipes and ratios and everything else. And I want to show y'all what I've found that works best. I'm going to use my two favorite devices, Instant Pot and the Ninja FOODI. And I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to go with their recipes out of these two books right here. And again, you can find different ones when you look in a lot of places. So I'm going to use their recipes. I got a few other pointers I want to show that you may know and everybody out there may, but I didn't for a long time. And I am positive it messes up a lot of people's recipes because it's just not mentioned a lot of times. So I'm going to mention it. And anyhow, like I said, we're going to get this started. We're going to look at what their recipes call for. Then I'm going to show you what I've found is my go-to for fluffy white rice. And it works every time, and you'll be shocked, I think, when you see what it is and how it works compared to what you've been seeing in recipes and what you've been doing. So, long story short, I'm fixing to move the camera over here where I can explain this a little bit better, and I will be right back, so y'all hang on just a second. Okay, so I'm not sure I got an excellent way of describing this other than these are all cups that have came with rice cookers, Instant Pots. Now, nothing came with the Ninja FOODI, but these are all cups I've collected over the years for rice. Well, when you look at recipes, they always say a cup of rice to a cup of water or a cup and a half of water. Well, the thing is, a rice cooker or a lot of devices, a cup of rice is not the same as a cup here. And I'll show you what I mean. These are, well, you know, I think they're around, in fact, I saw it written down in milliliters. It was 180 milliliters or something like that. Anyhow, there's one. There's two. Here's three. And here's 4 cups that come with your rice cookers. That's what they would call 4 cups. Well, if you look, that is 3 cups. So, I mean, I'm sure you can do the math on that. And it's real simple, to be honest with you. At 8 ounces, so it's somewhere around 6. I haven't done the math, but my point is, it's not a cup, as you would say, you know, a cup. It's not the same as a cup. And I know that sounds crazy, the way I'm trying to explain it, but I think you get my point. And a lot of recipes refer to a cup. Now, if you look in some places, like here, when you go to rice, it mentions, and I'll have to find it, but it mentions right here, it says to use the provided rice measuring cup, 180 milliliters, can be used to measure the required grain to water ratio. Well, you know, that's just confusing to me. And it may have messed up a lot of my recipes over the years before I realized this is not an 8-ounce cup. Now, I also say, right quick, this is what I'm using tonight. It might not be what I always use, but this is like a very common rice that a lot of people get, so that's why I went with it. This is what my mother used. Every time I've ever saw her cook rice, this is what she was using. Well, if you look on here, it doesn't mention these cups. It just says 1 cup and to 2 cups of water. Now, that's going to be another part I want to touch on in a minute, because that's kind of where I get what I say my perfect rice ratio is. But it just says 1 cup. And I haven't ever found on here anywhere, and I've looked a little bit tonight, where it says use this type rice cup. It also says something else that people don't know. I mean, I do usually rinse my rice because it's really recommended by almost everybody. But it says to retain vitamins, do not rinse before or drain after cooking. And that's from Mahatma, which is a very well-known rice company. So, anyhow, we're going to kind of get off of this a little bit and go to cooking rice. And if it says to use this, I will. The Ninja doesn't even come with one of these, so I have to assume, the only thing I know to assume is that it means an 8-ounce cup. Again, you know. And then another thing I'm going to throw in while we're talking about it, I'm not using this tonight, but I'm going to tell you, with a lot of recipes, a lot of them, I'll substitute water or chicken broth for water, or it's depending on what I'm cooking. Sometimes beef broth, and even sometimes seafood broth. There's all kinds of broths. It's depending on what flavor you want and maybe what you're going to put it with. But anyhow, that's one of the main things I want to get across tonight is that understand that your recipe may be talking about a 6-ounce. So either way, we're going to get their recipe started in these two devices. I'll bring you back when I start that and show you what I'm using and what we're going to go with. But I will do that in just a second. Y'all hang on. Okay, so right quick, we're going to use the 180 milliliter. It even says it on the bottom right here. We're going to use it with the Instant Pot. The Ninja that did not come with one of those is going to get the 1 cup. The Ninja calls for white rice. It calls for 1 cup. 1 cup of white rice to 1 cup of water. The Instant Pot calls for the same thing, 1 cup of white rice to 1 cup of water. And then I'll set up how we're going to cook them in a minute by their directions. Now I am going to cook 3 cups at a time in each one because this is the only size Ninja I have, of course. So and I don't think it would do 1 cup well. So I'm going to do 3 cups in this one, 3 cups in that one. And let's see, anything else? I'm going to wash the rice. I'm going to put 3 cups in a thing and rinse it till the water runs clear. And if anything else I need to add, I've got these on 2 different, that's why this one's not plugged in. I have it on a different circuit because this one is 1200 watts and this one's 1500, and that is too much for one circuit. So I divided them up between 2 circuits. So I'm going to get that started, get the rice washed, get it in here with the water, and then we're going to go by their directions. We're going to see how it turns out. Be right back. Okay, so I'm going to start the Instant Pot first, and I used and this is what I think tricks a lot of people, but I use the 180 cup to measure the water with also. Although it calls for a cup, I'm assuming, and it does say here, the provided rice measuring cup can be used to measure the required grain to water ratio. So I'm assuming it means you measure the rice and the water. So that is right at 2 cups of water or 3 of those 180 grains. So, or 180 milliliters. Now the next step is, it says 4 minutes. All right, well I was going to use rice because I always do. I always use rice, the rice feature on Instant Pot. But you can't make that go to 4. So I'm going to cancel that. And I'm not going to use rice this particular cook. I will use the rice function in a minute though. But the only option I have to do what they're calling for, which is white rice 1-to-1, 4 minutes. Only thing I can do is do this. I'm assuming high. And I'm going to set it for 4 minutes. All right, and then we'll get this started. And then I'll come back. We'll get this one started. Then I'll get this one going shortly. But there it goes. It's running. I got it sealed. I got it on seal. So I'm going to get this one ready, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are to the Ninja, and there's 3 cups of rice, and here's 3 cups of water. And I'm going to do what it says, which is on high. Let me make sure. It is white long grain, 1 cup on high for 2 minutes. So, put this on. Make sure it's sealed. Go high pressure for 2 minutes. And then it says allow for a natural release for 10 minutes and then quick. Now, I'm going to say this right quick. The Instant Pot directions don't even mention whether it should be a natural or a quick. So I'm going to do a quick release because it does not mention it. Because I've got another way I'm going to show you that I cook rice, and this may turn out fine. Quite honestly, I've never done it this way. I have tried this method, but we'll see. We'll see how they look in just a minute, and then I'll show you the one, my go-to for fluffy rice, as I mentioned a while ago. But be right back when when time is up. Okay, so like I said, I've read it again, and it doesn't say anywhere about natural release or anything, so I'm going to make the assumption. And it's 4 minutes of time under pressure. So the minute that right there times out, I'm going to do a quick release and let it bleed down. And then we're going to take one of these rice spoons that came with the Instant Pot and see how it looks. This one right here just came to pressure. You saw about how, well, there's a few minutes between those two. But this one being 1500 watts, it took a little bit, but this one did too. So, okay, so there went the time. And right quick, you can look if you want to. I could not find anything about doing a natural release or anything like that. And that's out of this manual book right here. So we're going to do a quick release. And once that's done, we're going to open it up and see how it looks. This one likes it a little bit, so and this one has to do a 10-minute natural. So, long story short, when that's done, we'll open it up and take a look at it. Okay, so there went the pen on the Instant Pot. I'll move some of this out of the way a little bit. And I don't know if you can see, yeah, this one's already completed, so it's on its 10 minutes. The count up. But what we want to do right now is see how this rice looks. And I'm not going to lie, it didn't look bad. So let's see how it does. Well, it looks pretty good. And honestly, the Instant Pot's pretty hard to beat on rice. Now, the recipe I use, I'm not sure it's going to be a whole lot better than that right there. But I have a recipe that I use the rice feature. But, I mean, I don't know if you'd say that's a little sticky. It's not as fluffy as what I think mine is. But honestly, there's really not a lot wrong with it. It's just, well, you can see it's kind of sticky. So, I'm going to put some in this bowl and let it sit just a minute. And naturally, you probably put butter and everything else on it, but just to see what it looks like right out of the pot, there it is. And you can see, you've already saw it. It's a little sticky, but we're going to let this one finish. I'm going to taste this one, but I can see it's more look and feel here than it is taste. I mean, it's rice, you know, and it's a little sticky. So we'll probably do my recipe in that one in just a minute, and we're going to see how this one looks in about 8 minutes. But I'll be right back. Okay, so we're coming up on the 10 minutes of natural release. And by the way, the pen has not dropped, so I'm going to let that right there bleed down. And there's a little more pressure than I thought, so I may turn the camera off and wait on that pen to drop. So I'll be right back. Okay, so there it went. And let's open it up and take a look. And it looks all right. Let's see how it does. Well, not bad. I would say that's doable. Now, the other one it's a little less sticky, maybe. Kind of hard to tell yet. Then the other one. Now, I'm going to say the other one, honestly, may not have been. It could have used a little more time, and I know that is. Hang on, let me change something here. You can't. There we go. Something was wrong with the exposure. But I'll do that again where you can kind of get an idea for what it looks like when you're stirring it. The other one liked a little being done, I believe. It could have used a little more time, or maybe some natural release instead of the quick. But You can see this one's a little sticky too. So, I mean, it's not fluffy or not as fluffy as it could be. Now, I'm going to taste it, because while ago I didn't think it tasted me anything. It did, because it wasn't quite done, but it was done enough, but it was still somewhat firm, you know. Now, this one's definitely done more than the other one. There's no doubt. And by using that metal fork in there, so I'm going to get that out of there, and then we're going to do my recipe in the Instant Pot. And we may try something different in the Ninja that I've never tried in the Ninja, but I've done it in the Instant Pot many, many times. So we're going to see how that works. But I will be right back, and we'll do that. Okay, so obviously as far as the yield is concerned, there's what you get out of 3 full cups versus the 6-ounce cups, or whatever, the 180 milliliter. Now, I will say, though, I want to touch on that. I mean, this rice needed cooking longer. There's no doubt. This is way better rice, but it's it's just those temps and times, and you can change all of that and make this one easy by just leaving a little more time or doing natural release. But this rice is done, and this is close, real close. Some people might even like it that way, but not me. It's still a little tough in the center. But be right back. Okay, so welcome back to around day 3 of trying to get my Hotman extra long grain rice to be fluffy or not what it was the other day, not as sticky as it was the other day. And it turned into something I couldn't do. I mean, I cooked it all different ways. Now, I hope somebody watching has please put in the comments if you got a way that works, because I tried all different things. I tried all kinds of different water ratios. I did it all. And I did a lot of it. I guess I did it all because I never got it right. But I'm not going to say I'm giving up on it. But what I am going to do is step off into showing you what, if you heard me mention my go-to or my favorite, and that is this right here. Which, as you can see, when I buy it, I buy a lot. And it's because I like it, and it works well. And I think it's a better rice than most on the market. I like it better. And it's basmati. Now, what I do with that is pretty much, it's like if rice is great. That's why I buy so much. It's great for all kinds of recipes. It goes with a lot of things. You just throw it in a pot, and in a few minutes, you got something to add with whatever you're having, and sometimes on top of it or under it or whatever. So, to cut to the chase, I'm going to show you exactly what I do almost every time I cook rice. Even when I do chicken and rice, I use basmati, and something similar to what I'm fixing to do right here. So what I do is I keep one of those cups that comes with the rice cooker, or I think this one actually came with an Instant Pot, but I keep it in this bag. And what I do is I pull out 3 of those. I always take the pot out, and I'll walk in there and I get 3 of those out, all the way full. I fill them all the way to the top. I put 3 cups of those in there. I bring them in here. I rinse it off real well, drain it, and then I add 132 ounce of chicken broth. Now, I rarely do it, but you could add vegetable or beef or whatever. I just almost always use chicken, but I'm sure the other would work. And what we're going to do tonight, because I've always done that in the Instant Pot. It works well. The rice feature works well. I've learned a lot doing this. I mean, I've learned that the Instant Pot goes to low. I never watched it before. I never paid any attention. I just press a button and let it go. We're going to do it in the Ninja also. And I'm going to do it on a low pressure. And I'm going to do 3 minutes and then 10 minutes of natural release. So I'm going to get some of that started. Get the rice rinsed. Get it in here. I'm going to show you what that'll do. And to me, it comes out it's as perfect. It's what I want. It works. You know what I mean? So y'all hang on. I'll get this started and I'll be right back. Okay, so the three rice cups, not 3 cups like this, but the 3 cups of the 6-ounce cups that comes with your rice cooker. 3 cups of those are in here. Now I'm putting the 32 ounces of chicken broth. And that is all that is going to get right there. Takes 32 ounces, and same thing for the Ninja. And I could take in a minute and try and measure. Well, I showed you earlier, I think, I'm not really sure what 3 of those cups would be if you did convert them to cups, but I've never used that. I keep that device in there, and that's what I've always just used. So, I mean, either use one of those, I guess you can figure it out. It's around 6 ounces per cup, so you can do the math on that, I'm sure. Then I just stir this around, kind of get it off the sides if it's on there best you can, and same thing over here. And now, just put the lid on, lock it, seal it, press the rice feature one time on the, and they may not all do the same thing, but I do the one that comes up to 8 minutes here. So anyhow, it'll come on by itself, the Instant Pot will. Now on the Ninja, because what I've watched here and learned here is it goes to low. So that's how I've been doing this. I'm going to set this to pressure, and I probably should have got my glass at pressure. Then go to low, and then 3 minutes. I'm going to do 3 minutes of low pressure cooking, not high, but low. Make sure that's sealed. And then on this one, I'm going to do a 10-minute natural release. So when that's done, when this is done cooking, I'll let it sit for 10 minutes and and vent it off. But this one, as soon as it goes to 0 or says it's done, I'm going to do a quick release on it. So be back in a minute. We'll see how that looks. Okay, so for the record, I did it. That is 3 of those cups, and that is right at 2 1/4 8-ounce cups. So as confusing as that is, and I have no idea how that got started, but I'm sure there's a reason, something about the way, I don't know. But anyhow, 2 1/4 cups if you're using a regular cup. There you go. Okay, so one other thing I wanted to say was one thing is the Instant Pot, even though you set it to 8 minutes, when it times and goes out of that auto mode, it goes to 10 minutes. So I don't really understand that, but it doesn't matter. Really what I wanted to say was that the rice that I've cooked in my Hotman, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's edible rice. It's good. The first batch I had was great, and a lot of the others were. I mean, some of them, when I had too much water in one or two because I had ratios so different. But I had plenty of times it was rice you could have ate. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to get a rice that's not sticky. That's separate, individual, right? And it's hard to do in a pressure cooker, I think. So, but I think this will be a lot better. But this is what I do. It works, and nobody's ever complained about it, and people eat it. Now, what we're doing here is that just went, and now it's counting up. So we're going to let that get to 10 minutes, and then I'll do the 10 minutes of natural release, and then I'll release it. Now this, again, like I said, when this one times out, we're going to do the quick release on it. So I'll be back when we start that up. Be back then. Hang on. Okay, so the Instant Pot has timed out. We're going quick release. And the Ninja likes about 2 minutes. So once that bleeds down, I'll start the other one probably about the same time. But we're going to open that one up and look real shortly. Okay, the Ninja is time to release the pressure on it right now. And we're waiting on this pin right here to drop, which should happen any second now. And it's taking longer than I thought, but it will. We're going to just let it ride because I'm going to open it. There it goes. Let's see what we've got. And that looks like what I want. And you can see it's not, you know, if there's a slight residue on the bottom, but that is some good looking rice, and I assure you it is. Now, oh, there goes the Ninja. So let's open it up. Let it start. See what it looks like. And it looks good also. And none on the bottom of the Ninja, which I will mention. I will say, as much as I've done of this rice in the last 2 or 3 days, I mean, I come in from work and I just do a test or two. The wife said she was tired of smelling rice. Believe it or not, last 3 days. But I mean, that rice right there, look, well, both of them look good. But the Ninjas, well, we'll see. But again, what I was going to say was cleaning these pots after cooking all this time. Man, this surface right here works. That's all there is to it. It is way easier to clean. And I mean considerably, even cooking rice. So, there they are side by side. I'm going to put some in that bowl. And we're going to see how it looks in the bowl and eat some of it. You know, hang on a minute. Okay, so just putting them in the bowl. Now, I mean, they're both good rice, and they're still a little tacky. I mean, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna say the Ninjas, honestly, and I rarely ever use it. I always use the Instant Pot for rice, but I'd say that worked. I mean, that's fluffy. If you watch my chicken and rice video that I did in the Instant Pot, that's really, you know, a real separate grain rice, where these are a little tacky, but honestly, from just look of it, the Ninja might have outdid the Instant Pot this time, but they're both good. That's my point. Neither one of them are bad, so I mean, there's definitely nothing bad here. All of it's edible. A lot of the rice I've cooked has been, even though it wasn't, you know, everything I was shooting for. This is a good recipe, though. This chicken broth gives it a great flavor. And, I mean, I just don't think you'll beat that rice recipe. I mean, again, if you do have a better one, please put it in the comments. You know, tell me what you do and tell other people what you do. And it helps everybody, you know. But both rices are absolutely fantastic. I honestly would take the Ninja on this particular cook over the Instant Pot, just because it looks a little lumpy to me in there. I mean, it's not, maybe once it sits here and airs out a little bit, it's going to even get better. But you can see how it's kind of clumping a little bit. And the Ninja seems, as soon as I open it, I mean, it don't seem to be doing that. But I mean, you can look and make your own decision. But as far as eating them, both of them are excellent. And that's chicken broth. I think it's a great thing to cook rice in. I really do. And it gives it a different flavor. And it, again, a few minutes and you got something to put on the table to go along with something you're cooking. But anyhow, In the Kitchen with Jelly. That's www.jelly007.com. That'll take you to all my videos. And I really do appreciate y'all watching my videos. And please come back to see me. Like, share, subscribe, all the above. And y'all have a good night. Bye-bye.